Very good morning to one and all. So, from the last two classes, we have started discussing about the keywords in Java, and then so far we have completed some introduction regarding the keywords, and then we have seen what are the different keywords that are present in the Java programming language, and then we have started discussing about some of the keywords in detail. So, among those, and this is the keyword where we have completed the three uses of this along with the examples, right? And then, so in today's class, we are going to discuss about static keyword. What is a static keyword, and what is the purpose of using the static keyword in Java, and what will happen if we use this static keyword before a variable, or what will happen if we use the static keyword before a method, right? So here, along with this topic, we are going to cover what is the need of creating an object in Java also, right? So here, static is the keyword which can be used in four places of the program. So in the program, we can use this static keyword along with the variables, right? So when we use the static keyword along with the variables, then we call those variables as statical variable or static variables. And similarly, we can use this static keyword along with the methods, and we call those methods as static methods. And we can use this static keyword along with the classes, and we can call those classes as static classes. And I will explain the static classes later, right? So apart from the static classes, we are going to cover all these things. And if we at the same time, we can also mention a block, which means we can also mention a couple of open braces and closed braces, right? We can also mention a couple of open braces and closed braces. And for that block also, we can give the static keyword. For that block also, we can give that static keyword. And these things are called as statical blocks, right? So we can use the static keyword before a variable, before a method, or a block can be given with the static keyword, right? So these are the four areas in the program where we are going to use the static keyword. And let us see what will happen if we use the static keyword before a variable, or if we use the static keyword before a method, or before a block, or before a class name, right? So here, what is the purpose of using the static keyword in Java programming language? It is a very important keyword in Java where our program execution will starts with the main method. Even the main method is represented with the static keyword, right? So it is very important. The static keyword plays a very vital role in Java programming language. So here, the main use of static keyword is that if you want to bring any content of the program directly into the RAM without creating an object, then we can define it with static keyword. So here, let us consider, there are some 100 lines of a program. There are some 100 lines of a program. Among those 100 lines of a program, if I want to bring from line number 30 to line number 60 directly into the RAM, I can mark those line number 30 and line number 60 in a block, and I can provide static keyword for that block. So whenever the compiler encounters this static keyword, it is going to shift all the 30 lines, that is from 30th line to 60th line, into the RAM directly, right? So similarly, if you want to bring line number 1 directly into the RAM, just to define static keyword before that line number 1, so that line number 1 will be moved into the RAM directly. So whatever it may be, If you want to bring some content of the program, if your program consists of 100 lines or 1000 lines or 1 lakh lines, among all those lines, if you want to bring a single line or if you want to bring a group of lines, then make the single line with the static keyword, or mention the group in the block and make the block with the static keyword. Then all the things will be moved into the RAM directly, and then there is no need to create an object for them. That is the main use of static keyword. Next one. Right. So let us discuss about some examples of static keyword. Let us start the things with a simple program. Here, I am going to define a class whose name is A, and inside the class A, I have a variable called as int A equal to 10, right? And then I'm going to define public static void main string args, right? So inside this main method of Java, I'm going to declare one more variable int b equal to some 20 comma c semicolon. I'm going to add those two variables c equal to a plus b, and I want to print the output system.out.println c. So here you can observe we have used the static keyword here, that is before the main method. So as we said earlier, whenever we use the static keyword, if it is before a variable, it will be moved into the RAM, and if it is before a block, the entire block will be moved into the RAM. So in the main memory, there will be some space will be created whenever the compiler encounters the static keyword. In that space, right, in that space, all these three lines are going to be moved in that space, right? So for B, internally there will be some 4 bytes of memory, and for C also there will be 4 bytes of memory. In B, there exists a value of 20, but in C there will be no value initially, right? So here, after moving the three statements into the RAM, compiler will start executing the statements line by line. So if it starts executing the statements line by line, if it is executing line number 1 inside the main method, so the line number 1 is int b equal to 20 comma c. So we all know that 4 bytes of memory will be created for variables of integers in Java. So 4 bytes of space will be created, which will be under the name of b, and 20 will be stored inside b, and then 4 bytes of space will be created under the name of c, and the c will be empty because there is no value inside the c. And then what we have done is here c equal to a plus b. So now the compiler will focus on this one. So the compiler will have a complete focus on this one. Now whenever it encounters c equal to a plus b, it is going to search the variable a, sorry, the variable c, the variable a, and the variable b in order to execute the second line inside the main method. So if it starts searching, it finds variable c, it is okay, and it starts searching, it does not find variable a. If you observe, there is no variable a inside this memory block, right? Inside that memory, there is no variable a. Now compiler will print an error on the output screen. A is undefined, right? A is undefined. But if you observe the program, we have defined the variable a here, right? We have defined the variable here, but unfortunately the compiler is showing that the variable a was not present in the program. So what we have to do here is, right, what we have to do here is, Either we have to define the variable with the static keyword, right? Either we have to define the variable with static keyword so that it can also be present in the main memory, or what we have to do here is we have to create an object of class a space obj equal to new a, right? New a. So whenever the compiler encounters this new keyword, right? See here, I will explain it clearly. So whenever the compiler sees the static keyword, it will bring all these 4 lines into the RAM and starts executing each and every line. So if it is executing the first line, there will be 2 variables or 4 bytes memory spaces will be created. The first memory space name was B and 20 will be stored inside B, and the second memory namespace for C, and there is no variable inside, there is no value inside C. And when it is executing the second line, whenever it encounters the new keyword, right? Whenever it encounters the new keyword, right? It is going to create another memory. It is also inside the RAM, right? All these memory lies inside the RAM only. It is going to create another memory, and it is going to bring all the non-statical variables and non-statical methods of this class. So the non-statical means the things which do not have the static keyword before. So here a is a non-static variable because it does not have the static keyword. So it is going to create a 4 bytes of memory with the name a, and the memory contains a value called as 10, and at the same time the name of this memory is obj. If you observe here, we have written a space obj equal to new a. That means we are going to create an object for class a, and the name of object is obj, and this object will contain all the non-statical variables and non-statical methods. It is static, so from here to here it was not kept in the object, right? It is non-static, so this variable will be kept in the object. So and then so now after executing this one, compiler will start executing C equal to a plus b. So here compiler will search for C, search for a, and search for b. When it searches for C, a, b, C and b will be found here. So compiler every time points to this pink color memory. Compile time will never points to this red color memory until and unless we say obj dot. So when we say obj dot, then compiler is going to focus on obj. Otherwise, the compiler will always have the primary focus on this pink color. So when it have a primary focus on this one, it is only finding B and C. It does not find A. So what we have to do here is we have to replace this statement as obj dot. Now what the compiler will come to know is obj dot means it is going to look for A inside obj. It is going to look for A inside obj. Now this statement will get executed successfully. Now C equal to obj dot a plus b. So we are getting C and B directly from here, but we are getting A from obj. Right? Now it will be printed, it will be calculated, and it will be stored inside the variable C, and it will be printed on the output screen. So here, right here, this memory, right, this memory is called as, right, this memory is called as context of a class, context of a class, and this memory is called as instance of a class. I think we have completed this topic in the offline classes also, but most of the people from the even from especially from the boys session has missed the class. And somebody asked me about how to create an object and what is the need of creating an object, and then what is the use of static keyword. So I am explaining it again, right? It's called as context of a class and it is called as instance of a class. Okay, so here you can see you can get the definition. Context of a class means the space that was created in the RAM for non-statical for statical variables and statical methods. Instance of a class means the space which is created in RAM for non-statical variables and non-statical methods of a class, right? So here, just remember these two names, and then let us come to the static keyword. So we have static keyword here. That's why the complete thing has moved into the RAM. Okay, right. Let us have one more thing. Let us see what will happen if we have static keyword before variable a. When we have static keyword before variable a, then there is no need to use obj dot, because whenever compiler encounters static keyword, it will bring this a variable into the RAM, right? Now, so this is the main use of static keyword, and the things which are defined along with the static keyword are called as statical context of the class, right? So the things which are defined with the static keyword, there is the things will be directly moved into the RAM, and there is no need to create an object for those things. And then coming to the next one, final keyword. Okay, so there are mainly three uses for final keyword. As all you remember, there is one keyword called as a CONST, const keyword, right? This keyword, you can find this in C programming language. So when a variable is defined with CONST int a equal to 10 means throughout the program, no one is allowed to change the value of a. If somebody wants to change the value of a, or somebody tries to change the value of a, then they will get some compile time error, because the variable a was declared with the constant keyword. Similarly, uh, this final keyword can be used along with the variables. See here, this final keyword can be used along with the variables, and at the same time this final keyword can be used before a method, and this final keyword can be used before a class. So here, final keyword can be used in three areas of the program: before a variable, before a method, and before a class. So when we use this final keyword before a variable, what will going to be happen is we cannot change the value of that particular variable. For example, if we have declared final int a equal to 100, after that one we rate a equal to a plus b, then we cannot execute that statement. Then we cannot, because already the variable a was declared as final, which means the value inside the variable will become constant, and no one can change that value because it was declared as final. And similarly, when we define final keyword before a method, we can prevent method overriding. So as all we know that, for example, there are two classes A and B, where B is inherited from class A, and inside A I have a method M, and inside B also I have a method M, then it is called as method overloading. We have already seen same program, different classes, same method name, but the two classes should be in inheritance relation. The people who have missed this method overloading and method overriding, please refer to the videos which was kept in our college YouTube channel, because those two things are very important, right? So here, so there are two classes, A and B, where B is inherited from A, and inside the class A we have an M, and inside class B also we have a method M. So it is called as method overriding. So for example, while declaring the method in class A, if I have declared that method M as final void M, right, final void M, and
when I'm trying to declare a method m in class B, then compiler is going to generate a compile time error because the method m was already declared as final in class A, and we cannot override that such method, right? Similarly, when we use this final keyword before a class, right? When we use this final keyword before a class, what is going to be happening is we can prevent inheritance, which means there is a class A and there is one more class called as B, and B is extended from A. That is, B is inherited from A. And while declaring this class, when I use this final class A, and when I try to write B extends A, then I am going to get a compile time error because class A is already declared as final, which means no one can inherit class A. So here, final keyword is having main three uses. It can be used before a variable, or it can be used before a method, or it can be used before a class. So when we use the final variable final keyword before a variable, then the variable will become constant. When we use the final keyword before a method, then we can prevent method overriding. When we use the final keyword before a class, we can avoid the inheritance, or we can prevent the inheritance, right? So let us see all these things with the help of some examples so that you can understand them perfectly. See here, let us declare a class A, and inside this class I want to declare a method called I want to declare a variable, or I want to define a method, define a main method in Java, public static void main string args. See here, so inside this one I am declaring a variable int a equal to 10, right? Int a equal to 10, and I am going to print the value of a on the output screen, system.out.println a. Before that, I want to change this value a equal to something called as 20, right? So let us compile and execute this one. Let us first save the code. A.java, right? Compiling the code. So if I compile the code, it was compiled successfully. And if I run the code, you can see here, the value of A is 20. So let us see what will happen step by step. Compiler will suggest for the static keyword. Whenever it encounters the static keyword, right? Whenever it encounters the static keyword, right? So it will create some memory inside the RAM, and it will bring all this block, right? All the block into the RAM and starts executing line by line. If it is executing the first line, int a equal to 20, that means a 4 bytes of memory space will be created under the name of a, right? Under the name of a, and the value of 10 will be kept in this block because we have assigned value 10 to the variable a. And later it will execute the next line. When the next line was executed, we have assigned 20 value to a. So this 10 will be modified, right? 10 will be modified with the 20. And if the compiler executes the third line, then we have printed the value of a on the output screen. So finally 20 has been printed on the output screen, right? 20 has been printed on the output screen. So here, what I want to do is I want to declare this variable as final. So for example, final int a equal to 20. Now let us see what will happen to this program. Just compile the code So if I compile the code, see here, cannot assign a value to final variable a, which means int a equal to 20 means there will be 4 bytes of space will be created and 10 will be stored inside a, and this was declared with the final keyword. So this memory space will get some protection. If anybody wants to access this, they can access it. If anybody wants to modify it, they will get a compile time error, because the final keyword was used along with the variable. So this is how we can print a programmer, or we can, sorry, this is how we can prevent a programmer, or we can prevent an user in order to avoid the modification of a value inside a variable. Right? For example, I'm conducting an exam. I'm conducting an exam where the maximum marks of that exam is 100. If anybody wants to calculate the percentage, then they are able to write P equal to, they have to write what the marks they have got divided by maximum. Right? So at the time, the maximum value will not be different for different students. The maximum value will be constant for all the people. Or if I want to declare the value of pi, so I can declare it pi equal to 3.14. So nobody in the program can change the value of pi because it was declared as a final. So here, when we use the final keyword before a variable, then we can make that value of that variable as a constant throughout the program. So no one have the permission to change the value of that variable. If anybody wants to try to change the value of that variable, they will get a compile time error. Right? So here, next one, let us start discussing about something called as final method. So here, see here, I am declaring a method called as void m. So this void m is going to print system.out.println engineering, right? System.out.println engineering, and at the same time, I have a class called as b, which is extending this a. So I'm inheriting class A into class B, right? So here I have also same method, which is going to print medical, right? And then I'm going to write one more class called as C, which is an independent class, and inside C, I'm going to print write the main method of Java, static void main string args. Right, inside the main method, what I am going to do is, let us this one. Inside the main method, what I am going to do is, I'm going to create an object for class B space obj equal to new B, and I am going to call the method obj.m, right? Obj.m. So let us save the code as c.java, because the main method of the program lies in C. .java. Just compile the code. So there are no errors, and run the code. So we have got mechanical on the output screen, because we have created an object for class B, right? And we have tried to execute the method m, which was present in class B. So we got medical as an output on the output screen. So now this concept is called as method overriding, declaring a same method, right? Declaring a same method name in two different classes, right? There are two classes here, class A and class B, which are two different classes. We have defined the same method m inside the two classes, where these two classes under inheritance relation. It is called as method overriding, right? Method overriding. So in this concept, what I want to do is I want to avoid my method to be override. So I can simply use final space void m. So here the method m was declared with the final keyword. So the method m cannot be overridden by any other classes. Save and compile the code. See here. So there exists an error at line number 10 of C.java. The name of the error is m in B cannot override m in A, right? Overridden method is final, which means you have declared the method m as final in class A, so that the method m cannot be declared in class B, because the method m was declared with the final keyword in class A. So we cannot override method m in class B, because the method m in class A is declared with final keyword. So this is how we can avoid method overriding by using final keyword, right? If you remove the final keyword, it will be perfect. If you make a final keyword along with the definition of a method m inside class A, and inside class B, we cannot define the method with m, because it comes to overriding. We cannot override a method m with final keyword. Next one. See here, I'm just removing this final keyword, right? So it will work perfect. We will get a medical as an output of this program, because we have removed the final keyword, and now B can able to override the method m which was present in class A. Let us see the third usage of final keyword here. What happened if I kept the final keyword along with the class? So as we studied earlier, when we use the final keyword along with the class, this cannot be done. So we have a class A and class B. Initially, class B is inherited from class A, and if class A was declared with final keyword, this inheritance cannot be done. We can prevent the inheritance of class A into class B when we declare class A as final. Now compile the code. Just compile the code. So if you compile the code, there exists an error at line number 8. Previously, if we declare a final variable along with the method, we got an error at line number 10, because the method m was declared at line number 10 inside class B. But now we have used the final keyword along with class A, so that we are getting an error at line number 8. So at line number 8, what we are getting is cannot inherit from final A, which means class A is declared as final, so that class A cannot be inherited. So at line number 8, I think we have tried to inherit class A. See here, class B extends A. So we are trying to inherit class A into class B. So compiler is saying that it is not possible, because this class A is declared as final. So we can come to a conclusion that if the final keyword was used along with the class, we cannot inherit that class. If the final keyword was used along with the method, we cannot override that method. If the final keyword was used along with the variable, we cannot change the value of that variable. Right? I think it is very clear. So the time is running away. So in the next class, we are going to cover about the public, private, and protected access specifiers. So the people who have covered the C++ programming language has already had a good idea on these 3 keywords. They are very simple. And then we are going to cover about the super keyword in Java. We have already studied about the super keyword while we are discussing about the constructors. And then we can close the keywords topic with those 2 things. So in the tomorrow's class, we are going to cover about public, private, and protected keywords along with the super keyword. And if there exists time in tomorrow's class, we can cover one more keyword, or we can move to the next topic. Obviously, tomorrow is a Friday, we don't have class, so we can cover the things in the Saturday's class, right? So I think hope all you understand the things what we have discussed so far in today's session. And I request all the people to please concentrate on these topics. At the same time, I request all the people to please practice each and every concept what I have said in the PPT, to please practice you at home by practicing some Java programs so that you can get a good hands-on, right? So I request each and every person to please practice the programs at home. And if you have any doubts regarding this, regarding today's class, you can just comment in the comment lines of this video, which will be kept in our college YouTube channel by evening or maybe tomorrow, right? I really thank each and every listener for being here, and we will meet you in the Saturday's class.